So today let's talk about cells, which we know is the very beginning of life. What is a cell? Cells are the basic unit of all living things. Cells make up living things and carry out the activities that keep a living thing alive. The diagram that is given in the left hand side is known as the plant cell, and that of the right hand side is known as the animal cell. Now let's go into the brief. Cells are the basic fundamental units of life. So, if we were to break apart an organism to the cellular level, the smallest independent component that we would find would be the cell. Explore the cell notes to know that it is a cell, the cell definitions, the cell structure, types and functions of cells. Cells are actually the structural, functional and the biological units of all living beings. A cell can replicate itself independently. Hence, they are also known as the building blocks of life. We all know that, right? Yes. Each cell contains a fluid called the cytoplasm, which is enclosed by a membrane. Also present in the cytoplasm are several biomolecules like proteins, nucleic acids, and lipids. Moreover, cellular structures called the cell organelles are suspended in the cytoplasm. We all know that Robert Hooke was the first biologist to discover cells. Cells are actually very complex and their components perform various functions in an organism. They are of different shapes and sizes, pretty much like the bricks of the buildings. Our body is made up of cells of different shapes and sizes. Cells are the lowest level of an organization in every life form. From organism to organism, the count of cells may vary. Humans have the number of cells compared to that of the white bacteria. Now let's get into the discovery of cells first. Discovery of cells is one of the most remarkable advancements in the field of science. It helped us know that all the organisms are made up of cells, and these cells helps in carrying out the various life processes, the structure, the functions of cells, which helped us to understand the life in a better way. I guess we all know this story that Robert Hooke observed a piece of bottle cork under a compound microscope and noticed minuscule structures that reminded him of small rooms. Consequently, he named these rooms as cells. However, his compound microscope had limited magnification and hence he could not see any details in the structure. Because of this limitation, Hooke concluded that these were non-living entities. Later, Anton van Leeuwenhoek observed the cells under compound microscope with higher magnification. This time he had noted that the cells exhibited some form of movement or motility. As a result, Leeuwenhoek concluded that these microscopic entities were alive. Eventually, after a host of other observations, these entities were named as animalcules. In 1883, Robert Brown, a Scottish botanist, provided the very first insights into the cell structure. He was able to describe the nucleus present in the cells of the orchids. Now let's just summarize the topic, the discovery of the cell. In 1665, Robert Hooke used an early compound microscope to look at a non-living thin slice of cork, a plant material termed as a cell, and in 1674 Anton van Leeuwenhoek was first observer of the living cell, as we discussed it earlier. And in 1883 Robert Brown discovered the nucleus. We can see from the diagram the Hooke's microscope. Let's talk about the cell theory. The cell theory put forth by the two scientists M.J. Sheldon and Theodore Schwann. All the living beings are made up of cells. Cells are the basic structural and functional unit of all living beings. Every single cell arises from their pre-existing cells by methods of cell division. Now let's talk about the number of cells. First comes the unicellular organisms, which are made up of single cell. Example, amoeba, bacteria, Pamidonas, etc. Now the next comes the multicellular organisms, which are made up of millions of cells. For example, animals, plants. As shown in the figure, there is an amoeba given which represents the unicellular organism, and in the right side it is a picture of an elephant which is of the multicellular organism. Let's go on to the shape of the cells. The shape of the cells varies in different organisms. The shape of plant cell is different from that of an animal cell. They may be spherical, oval, elliptical, spindle-shaped, polygon, columnar, etc. Oval, irregular, oblong, elongated, thread-like, cubicular, rectangular, etc. Now, do you know that why these cells are shaped in different ways? Let me tell you why. The shape of the cell is so that it can help in its function. For example, we know that the nerve cells are long and elongated, which are branched because they need to make contact with the other nerve cells and carry the signals over long distances from brain to the other parts of the body. Or you can also take the example of muscle cells. Muscle cells are spindle shaped because muscles contract and relax. So spindle shape makes it easier to contract and relax. I hope you all have understood the importance of the size and the shape of the cells. Next topic is the size of the cells. Cells vary in size. Most cells that we see are very small. They can be observed under the microscope. Some may be large. Example, the RBC cell, nerve cell, amoeba, etc. As from the diagram, you can know that the longest cell is the nerve cell and the largest cell is the ostrich egg, and the smallest cell is the mycoplasma. Moving on to the next slide, you can see that the structure of a cell diagram is given. I know you are thinking that the cell and the structure of it is very complicated, but once you go into the depth, you will know that it is really easy. So let's move on. It says that although the cells differ in size and shape, the basic structure of the cell is the same. It is composed of the following parts, which includes the nucleus, the cytoplasm, the cell membrane, the cell wall. Plants and bacteria only have cell walls, and the nucleus and the cytoplasm together is known as protoplasm. Now let's go into the details. Quickly jot down the points that I am saying right now. First comes the cell membrane. Then comes the Golgi apparatus. Then comes the Golgi vesicle. Then comes the nucleus. Then comes the nucleolus. And then comes the lysosome. I hope you are writing it down quickly. And then comes the ribosome. Then microtubules. And then the cytoplasm. Then it follows pinocytic vesicle. Then comes the rough endoplasmic reticulum. Then the centrioles. Then the vacuole. Then the mitochondria. And last but not the least, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. I hope you have got the location of the cell in the structure of the cells. As you can see in the diagram, that what I have said and discussed earlier comes under animal cells. Now the plant cell structure is a little different from the animal cell structure. It includes cell wall, nucleus, nuclear envelope, nuclear pore, nucleolus, endoplasmic reticulum, cytoplasm, mitochondria, ribosomes, chloroplasts, Golgi apparatus, vacuole, plasma membrane, and plasmodesmata. Now let's talk about the differences between the animal cell and the plant cell, so it becomes easier for you all to understand it in a far better way. In animal cells, they are usually large in size, but the plant cells are usually smaller in size. In animal cells, the cell wall made of cellulose is present, but in the plant cells, the cells lack a cell wall. For the animal cell, plastids are present, but for the plant cells, plastids are absent. In the animal cell, a large central vacuole is present, but for the plant cell, numerous small vacuoles are present. Centrosome is absent in animal cell, while centrosome is present in the plant cell. Only a thin layer of cytoplasm is present, but a dense cytoplasmic material is present for the plant cell. Now let's talk about the cell division. Cell division is the process by which a parent cell divides into two or more daughter cells. Those two are mitosis and meiosis. This diagram is of a divided cell, as you can see. I hope you all have understood the video, and if there are any queries regarding the same, you can write down your queries in the comment box. So thank you for watching this video.